The life of Gregory Daly. Now, I've talked about in my bio on Greg a lot of the details, but I think I'll just talk about what Gregory generally knows how to do. And for that matter, what members of my brother Matt and what my sister Bridget and what my sister Jacinta generally know how to do. Mum raised us in a standard Western style way. We had regular dinners and we all knew how to eat our dinners. And we'd eat meats and vegetables and all the regular Western foods. We'd eat bacon. We didn't ever have any kosher food diet, and we pretty much still don't. I mean, I was a vegetarian for a while, but not really in the end. I've gone back to eating meat after a while. But I was vegan for a brief period as well, but that was years ago. Mostly for health reasons, I think, more than anything else. But Gregory and my brothers and sisters, we knew how to eat our foods and eat our meals, and we'd eat from plates and have knives and forks and things. And we'd sit around the table when we were very young, but later on, probably in Kuma years, we'd eat our meals in front of the TV in in front of the TV, the lounge room, I suppose, for want of a better word, and we'd watch the TV and eat our evening meals that way. So we know how to eat our meals. We know how to go to the toilet, of course, and to comb our hair and brush our hair and all those sorts of things. Grooming and stuff like that. All of us know how to do that sort of stuff. I can be very well presented if I want to, and so can Gregory. And for work, Gregory was usually quite well presented, and each of us in the family know how to present ourselves quite well if we have to. We know our education. All of us are educated to year 10 as a minimum, and pretty much St. Pat's and Kuma. So we all had year 10 as a minimum. So Gregory went on to year 11 and 12 and university as well, where he studied some degrees. And a sort of philosophy and statistics, I think, or something like that. Gregory studied at university, and strong on maths he is, and I think he did a grad dip in accounting later on or something like that. And he's also studied computing recently, but didn't go on with it, just for a brief while. But he'd have a fair bit of computing knowledge over his many years anyway. But we've all gone year 10 as the minimum. And Bridget did year 11 and 12. Matthew just finished at year 10 and did tech in Kuma. And I think Jacinta did do year 11 and 12 in the end. Yeah, she did. And I did year 11 and half of year 12. I was a bright student. I just didn't apply myself. That was my problem. I didn't really have a vision yet, or plan, or agenda. But Gregory was a bright student and worked hard as well. He was conscientious. But we all know the standard things which they know in a kindergarten through to year 10 education of the whole children of Cyril and Mary Daly. So we've got all that education, Catholic system, of course, but the standard curriculum from the 1970s through to the 1980s was our education. So we've got the standard curriculum on that. And Jacinta was a little bit less bright, but we all passed. Usually it was passes, and Gregory was a high grade sort of student. I was above average, and I do well on an occasional thing. I do quite well, but usually we were all pass students. We managed to understand the information well enough and process it well enough. We knew our maths, our English, our social science, our home cookery, our home economics, our technical drawing, our textiles and designs, artwork and craft and things like that. We all knew how to do that well enough. We've all got that knowledge well enough established. Each of us got our education under control, and Greg's got his education under control. Now I think, let me see, Matthew didn't ever get a driver license, but the rest of us have driver licenses. The surviving members all have driving licenses. So we've all got a driver license. Jacinta was, I think, the last to get a driver license, but she's got one now, and she knows how to drive too, and she's competent enough, I suppose. So Gregory has a driver license and knows how to drive. He's worked in the public service. I've worked in the public service. Bridget works in the public service currently. Jacinta has never worked in the public service. Matt has never worked in the public service. Jacinta currently works in Coles, actually. But we've all been employed. Matthew had a lot of time where he wasn't employed, and I haven't been employed for years because I've been on a pension, a support pension, because of my schizophrenia. But I was employed in the public service for a few years, and we all know how to do a job when it comes right down to the working job. We know about responsibility and showing up on time and being reliable enough. Each of us knew how to work. Matthew, when he was employed, didn't know how to work. He was responsible enough of his job. So I'd say each of us kids of Cyril and Mary are reliable enough to do our job properly enough. And we have potential as well, I think, something about our family. I'm not sure if we're go-getters, high flyers, because I'm not sure if that's really the mentality of mum and dad, and I'm not sure if we've inherited that either, being billionaires saying, go for the glory. I'm not sure if that's quite our mentality. More steady, regular enough citizens of society, I think, is our mentality. But we knew all our grooming, all our toiletries, all our wearing clothes, all the regular things which a human knows how to do well enough. We generally know how to do well enough. We know when to go to the doctor if we're too sick, where the hospitals are. We know the locations of the places in the city where the shops are, where the things we have to go to are. We know how to find ourselves or get ourselves around. We're not stupid people. We know how society works and what to do. Gregory has sort of Catholic understanding on things, I suppose. I'm pretty sure he's probably an evolutionary sort of thinker. That sort of probably believes in God, I think. But he owns a home and he's paying it off, and Bridget, Greg and Jacinta are all in their own homes, which they're paying off in loans, and I live at home with Mum. Matthew's lived out, he's never owned his own home, he's lived out of home. He's lived out of home, but when he died he was at home, where he was living. But Gregory doesn't have any other languages. I don't think any others have any other languages. I think he's probably studied a bit of this and that, but I don't think he's not really fluent in any language that I know of. But he might know a bit of Filipino, one of the Filipino languages, because he's married to a Filipino lady. I don't really know what it is. He's strong at music, and I'm strong at music, but I'm not sure if the other three are terribly musical. I think that's our... me and Greg are possibly the smartest in the family, but Dad was very smart as well, and we had... in the end, I do have a reasonably good mathematical mind, actually, and it equates well with musical composition. We're both composers. Gregory knows how to compose quite well, and so do I. Greg doesn't have any particular passions at all, really. He's just a regular enough guy. He's got a CD collection. He's got collections of things. But there's nothing which Gregory obsesses over terribly much. He's a very non-obsessive personality. I think I've noticed from Gregory. He doesn't really obsess over anything. Probably his priorities, from what I've heard of him, is get your holiday each year and just enjoy life on it. Nothing terribly much worried about that respect. Matthew didn't have any particularly huge passions. He liked coins and stamps a bit. And stamps a little bit, coins a bit more, and he had a bit of an interest in his coins. Bridget doesn't collect anything apart from things like CDs and books a bit and DVDs, but she's no particular collector of anything major. Jacinta, just same old thing. Nothing terribly passionate. I'm pretty passionate over my collections of things, but they're just more sedate about it than me. Gregory's more sedate than me. Gregory's been on holidays overseas, so he knows how to travel. He knows how to organise things with travel agents and all the things which are, well, can be complicated, but things which you have to do in life. Gregory knows how to do them. Each of his kids know how to do what we have to do in life. Matthew got himself to England and travelled around on his own, and he knew how to take care of himself and make his bookings and all things like that. And each of us know how to do that if we have to do those sorts of things. So what I'm basically saying about Gregory and each of us in the children of Cyril and Matt, we're intelligent, normal enough human beings who know how to navigate themselves through life.